I think everything happens in time. There's a time for everything. There's a time to be in a group, and there's a time to be solo. At least there was for me. If I had it my way, I would have been in the group forever. I enjoyed the group atmosphere. I thought, it's so good to have two guys on stage backing you up. But the interesting thing about entertainment is that when you're struggling, everybody goes in with the same goals. But somewhere along the success area, you start to look at everyone around you and go, wait a minute, where are you going? Where are you headed? Because I'm going this way. What happened? I thought we were all on the, and sometimes success can do that. Sometimes it really illuminates, creative differences, spiritual differences, emotional differences. And I, just like a young person would think that, the friends that my fifth grade friends are going to be my friends forever, throughout high school, and it's not that they cease being your friends, but sometimes you just mature to a place and some people get there faster, some people don't, and hopefully, ultimately, everyone catches up. But, it's really interesting because I didn't actually make a decision to be solo. It really just happened. I promise you that. It's hard to explain, but, I'd intended to be in the group forever until I found myself in circumstances where I felt the inner desire to express myself freely and openly without any constraint, without anybody saying, hey, you can't say that. That's not fly. You can't say that. People won't, you know what I mean? So, the only way I could have done that was in doing a solo release. But it was like once I was delivered from that situation, and once I got the perspective, was able to look back at heartache and look back at pain and disappointment, for some reason, it all was so clear. It was just like the picture started to form itself. The songs started to create themselves. I was able to look back and be a narrator of my own situation. But the interesting thing was that it couldn't happen while I was in the middle of the confusion. I just strive to be myself, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not really doing this to please anyone but God, And sometimes, when you choose a side, particularly God's side, you automatically will have enemies, you automatically have opponents, people who would rather see you fall and rise, so you have to be careful. I always thought that, the Matrix was battling the enemy out there, picking them out. I'm going to find those enemies, I'm going to get that enemy, until I realized that until you conquer the enemy in yourself, you can't deal with anyone. In order to be used by God, you have to really be used. We always want to be used for the glorious jobs. Let God put me on the stage in front of the people in the Grammy show with a nice dress on. Let me just praise your name. But that's not being used. Sometimes in order to be used, you also have to be humiliated. You have to be humiliated sometimes. You have to be kicked and beaten. And in that situation, the person who's kicking and beating, he's feeling more pain than you are. So I understand now that the battlefield and that the war is so much greater than what we see before us. I live in this physical body. This is like my address, like 22 Eder Terrace. I just gave everybody my address, but that's my address. Fight me, no. But this is where I live, but there's something much deeper, because our enemies are not physical bodies. They're actually our family. They don't know it, and we don't always know it. But our enemies are not, they're not flesh and blood. And our problems are not flesh and blood, even though we think they are. The whole concept of success to me is a little bit warped. Because what are you being successful at in your house trap? That's not successfully living. I don't buy into that whole concept of success, that I have this mountain with this moat around it, and then I get into my, my big car and drive to my destination and never see people. That's not my concept of success. My concept of successful living is escaping the matrix, as we talked about, You know, it has very little to do with what people think success is. I actually feel successful right now, even though, you know, I don't have an album out or a video or a song on the radio, because I'm trying to be obedient to his will. I'm trying to be, you know, a loving and caring mother, a loving and caring wife to be, a loving and caring daughter, a loving and caring friend, a responsible person. And every day is another opportunity for me to be successful at that. The other stuff, I think it'll come. I think, you know, I don't think, I know, you know, there are certain gifts that each of us have. You know, the gifts we don't have to worry about so much because God gave them to us. It's the living, it's the life, it's the now. You know, it's wisdom without understanding is, what is it? You know, how do you're so wise, you're so intelligent, but how do you apply that to your life? You know, we should constantly be working, maybe not physically working, but we could be spiritually, emotionally working toward bettering ourselves and bettering the lives of others around us. So you know, I get really afraid of those little comfort, you know, those things that make us feel like, you know, we did something great. Because I've done nothing. I've done nothing. And I mean that sincerely. There's a time for rest, you know, but, you know, I don't believe in getting comfortable just because everyone says you've arrived. You know, that's not what it's all about. Once you compromise yourself in one way, you compromise yourself in another way. And you've just opened the door to, you know, compromise, mediocrity, settling. And I don't mean, when I say mediocrity, I don't mean, I mean that we should constantly be aspiring, you know, to reach higher and higher and higher. We should never be comfortable where we are. You know, we should always be aspiring to know more and to better ourselves and to improve ourselves, you know, to improve ourselves. Because that's how we improve the world around us, by working within us. You improve yourself, light up the corner that you live on. You know, you may not touch a gazillion lives, but you can light up your own space, light up your home. You know, if I never won a Grammy, you know, I would be satisfied if, in fact, I could help people, because it's really, really not about that. You know, when everyone else is being indulgent and doing whatever they want to do, you know, someone has to be responsible so that that music reaches and touches, you know, a specific chord. And that may not be me. You know, I may lose my mind tomorrow, but it's got to be somebody. But, you know, if you love something, man, you know, if you love something and if you're committed and diligent, you know, the things that happen, I mean, you know, there's some people who are blessed with gifts, but then there are certain people who can work toward, you know, even with the gift that I have now, I mean, I've leaned on God for so long. Hey, God, you just gave me this gift, and I'm just going to go out there and sing. But it's only now that I'm realizing how much larger and how expansive my gift becomes when I actually pay attention to it. You know, sow sparingly, you'll reap sparingly. If you sow in abundance, you'll reap in abundance. And by enjoying it, because I loved it, it enabled me to get better at what I was doing, you know what I mean? Because there was a love behind it. It wasn't like, I've got to do this, you know, there wasn't just, you know, naked ambition. I really enjoyed what I was doing. And all the while that I enjoyed it, I was happy doing it. I was content doing it, whether it was for 3 squirrels in the park or, you know, for 3 acorns as compensation. I mean, it didn't matter to me. And because we loved it so much, I think that was a reflection, you know, to others. I think that they saw that, you know, that to me, you know, penetrated the minds and the hearts of people more than, hey, look how well we can play. You know, it was kind of, there was something else that was communicated, you know, by the music and by the artistry. You know what, when people appreciate what you do, that's always a blessing. No matter how you do it, when you do it, why you do it. If you do something and you do it from your heart and people say thank you, or people say I like that, or I appreciate that, or I acknowledge that, that's just, it's a dope thing. You know, you can't either or, no matter how it comes. You know, I just say thank you very much. Those people enjoy those songs, but when they're desperately in need of help, what will my music do? how will it help them? Will it redeem them? Will it save them? Will it fight that battle for them? You know, it's just a song. And I say this to all the kids that I meet, is that we are regular people, just like the kids, you know what I mean, that listen to the music. We're the same exact way. We're no different. We wake up in the morning, you know, we have those little things in the corner of our eyes. You know, we do the same exact things, feel the same things. Sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have bad days. You know, we're just regular, normal people. When we have to go to the bathroom, we go, You know, so there are no idols. You know, I understand being inspired, but I'm no different than anybody, and I'm not doing anything different than anybody else can do. You know, I have a blessing. You know, God gave me a blessing to not only be able to express it the way I do, but He gave me the opportunity to do it. But that doesn't mean that there are other kids out there who can't do it just like me, if not better. You know, and I think that's what we keep to mind. I mean, we're real simple, yo. Simple things in life keeps us going. You know, pasta, good movies. You know what I'm saying? A little good guitar, a little freestyle every now and then. It has to be something that is personally, you know, is something that I need personally. That's my barometer for whether or not it's good for the people. Not just anything, just, you know, just make a beat, it's hot, throw it out there. You know, that I can't use that barometer. That doesn't work with me. I personally don't feel the pressure. The pressure is out there. Yeah, but I don't feel it. I really, really don't. You know, it does exist. Everyone, you know, I see people, hey, when's that record company? You coming? You know, you can't leave us hanging like that. We need something else. Or the record company, or the window of opportunity is almost closed. But I just don't think that those rules apply to me. And not because of me, but I just think that it's something spiritual and something bigger. And I think that if you respond to the needs of the people, you know, that's timeless. The object is to glorify God first. And in doing that, you become glorified. You get glorified. I have a considerable amount of confidence, but it's not in me. You know, it's the work that God's doing in me. This education that came from life and experience. I think that we all are a culmination of what we've learned, you know, what we've acquired, what we've been inspired by. I don't have an American dream. I have a dream, because my dream relates to the entire world. You know, and to be honest with you, I mean, that is that the entire world, you know, have salvation. That the entire world have joy. That the entire world know God and have peace and have His rest and His happiness. Just stay encouraged, you know, and just know that there's a higher force that He knows the way out of the matrix. Okay? Thank you, everyone.